Myself Ajay. Good morning to all of you. Myself Ajay. I'm from Haryana and I've been working with the Department of Education as lecturer in biology previously. And since the beginning of Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, I've been working as APC in SSA in Haryana. So throughout the 12 years, I've worked with the SSA and now with RMSA also. First of all, let me pay my regards to the learned faculty sitting here with me. My faculty advisor, respectable Dr. Nazmat, Dr. N.K. Ambas, and all the dear participants. And I feel privileged that I'm here again and with the presentation of my work, which I've somehow completed during these 3 months. Though it's been very hectic schedule, but still it was a learning experience for me, and I learned a lot through it. Though I could not make it a very good thesis, but still I think the learning I have gained from this work, it was fabulous, and I'll be working this, using this knowledge throughout my life to enhance the education status of my state. So let me start with my presentation. As you can see that my work was on the it was a study about the issues and challenges in mainstreaming the urban deprived children, with a special reference to the beggars, rag pickers, and children without the protection. Friends, I would like to tell you that I took these 3 categories because these are the children which are most deprived in our urban localities, and my whole emphasis was to study the issues which restrict them to mainstream themselves to the education, as after the inception of right to education 2009, many things have been done in the field of education to involve all the 6 to 14 years age group children in the mainstream education, but still in the urban pockets there are a lot of students who are still out of school, and we are not able to do much for them. And I'll be discussing about the challenges why we are not able to accomplish that work, though we know that these children are still out of school and they are just before our eyes and before the eyes of authorities, but still we are not able to enroll them, we are not able to mainstream them in the schools. So let us start with the need of the study. As I told you that even after making tremendous interventions, some special category of children are still deprived of their right of education. And the enrollment rate nowadays, because I've been working with SSA and I've been playing with the DICE data since last 10 years or more than that, I found that the enrollment rates in the rural areas have improved up to 98-99%, and you can see in the reports of ASR as well as in the reports of DICE, which are published repeatedly by the NUEPA and MHRD also. But after going through the data, you can see that the enrollment rates are not much higher in the urban pockets now. The situation has turned upside down, because in the past we had an experience that the education facilities are more in urban areas and lesser in the rural area. But nowadays the scenario has changed because of many reasons, and the main reason for that is that government and the department, they have been paying a lot of attention towards the rural areas and the upliftment of rural children. But in urban areas there are certain points which cannot be handled so easily. And the most prominent problem over there is the migrant children. And these category of children which I have been talking about, beggars, rag pickers, and the children without adult protection like orphans and other, they are mostly the migrant children. They come from the other states or other districts to the places which are highly industrialized to fight for their bread and butter. So during this study, I revealed many such things which are responsible for the non-enrollment of such students. So I had some research questions with me in the beginning when I started this project work. First of all, it was about the size of the population. And I can say now, after going through the project work, that a considerable size of population is there which is still out of schools and need to be paid attention by us. Then I had another question, that what are the issues which are restricting them to be enrolled in the schools or to mainstream them. Then what are the challenges before the authorities? If you know that the students are still out of school, the issues are before us, but still we're not able to mainstream them, then what are the issues before the authorities to get these children mainstream. And at last, and but not the least, I have to make some suggestions so that this problem can be sorted out. So these were the research questions. Then I would come to the point why the study was restricted to the city of Rohtak itself. Because firstly, because I'm posted in Rohtak district, and I must say that in Rohtak district there are 5 educational or community development blocks, and out of these 5 blocks, 3 blocks are purely rural blocks, and 2 blocks are out of 2. This Rohtak is purely urban, this highly industrialized area, and the another one is partially urban. So because I've been working with SSA and I've been looking into the data in the previous year also, so I found that the maximum number of out of school children are located in the city itself. The city is not a very small city, rather it's going to be a metro city nowadays, because the population as a whole has crossed 10.5 lakhs in the recent years, and therefore there's a huge industrialization and huge population inflow is there in that city. So that's why my study was restricted to this city only. Another reason is that because the people, as I told you earlier, they come for bread and butter, so they are not rich people. They have to settle somehow in the localities which are, you can say, slums, in the nearby areas of the industries and the big habitations where the elite kind of people are living, because they need their services as housemates and all that. And in some cases, there are some other reasons which force them to get settled down in these slums. So these were the regions, and when I started the study, first of all I was required to locate the slums where I can go for having the target group, and I could identify more than 10 such locations which were big slums in the city itself, and out of these 10 or 12 locations I selected only 6 locations where the concentration of such students were much higher. And this slide shows that these 6 locations, they are having more than 700 such students who are still out of school. And it has been confirmed by the DICE data also, and in the past year, in 2012-13, we conducted an independent survey also, and that also revealed that there are more than 700 or around 800 such children who are living in these urban slums. So just because of this reason I selected the Rohtak city. Let me tell you in brief about Rohtak, that this Rohtak itself, it is nowadays called as educational hub just because of having a health university, because of having 2 deemed universities, a well-established Mahasi Dayan University is there. So lot of educational institutes are there, but still, and the most important thing is that CM of Haryana is himself living in the city near to my house, just within half a kilometer. So even after having so many educational institutes, being the hometown of the Chief Minister, being the region being itself in the NCR region, still there are many out of children who are dwelling in these slums. I have already told you that there are 5 CD blocks, and out of them the block Rohtak is the largest one, and the city itself is very large with more than 10 lakh population. So here I would like to tell you that in the recent survey it has been revealed that the population of 6 to 14 years of children is somewhere 1.17 lakhs in the city itself, and out of them 1.15 and 672 lakhs are enrolled in the schools, maybe in private schools, maybe in the government school. The schooling facility, if I talk about it, is very much sufficient, you can say, in the city. There are around 800 schools, including 335 private schools as well as 443 government schools also. And you might be knowing that Haryana is a very rich state nowadays, and it is becoming more and more richer after 6 pay commission also, because we teachers are getting a lot nowadays. Even after that, the schooling facilities, I would say, are not sufficient in the urban areas, and the constraints are very much known to you also. The first one is the availability of space to raise new schools in the urban areas. So with such things, I had some presumptions also that since I've been dealing with the 3 category of children, beggars and rag people and the children without adult protection, There's a one commonality in these children. All of these category of children are deprived of very good parentage. The last one, if you call it CWAP, the children without adult protection, they are totally devoid of any love and affection of the parents because they lost them in the time, and they are now roaming here and there without any adult protection. And if you talk about the beggars as well as the rag pickers, they are also more or less living in the same conditions because the parents are not well to do, they are not able to take care of their children, and they don't even think about the education. So I'll be coming to the regions. This was just what I presumed before starting this study. Now let me say a few lines about the method I used. It was a survey method because I had to establish what is the size of the population of such children, what are the issues. So it could be possible only through the open-ended questions. I prepared a tool of containing around 40 questions about the education status of the students, about their parentage, about the profession the parents are professing nowadays, about the education status of the other family members, and the reasons which they think are responsible for not getting enrolled their children in the schools. So I used the open-ended questions, and the questionnaire was no doubt it was prepared in Hindi itself because the region they are living, it's a Hindi-speaking region. And for that survey, I needed help of some of my friends who were from amongst those areas living near the those slums which I have been working with. So I selected 3-4 members from the same locality so that they can talk to them in the same dialect. Because as and when we go into those localities, they become hostile. That they have come with something like that, they will be displaced from that, and they've been asking me, "Are you here to issue us the new ration cards and other things?" So they are more curious to know about the government policies which can help them in their upliftment and to make this bread and butter very good. Let me start with the proportion of the various categories in the sample. The sample I selected was containing around 105 such children, which included beggars, which included rag pickers, which included children with protection also. And if we talk about the percentage of such children, the beggars from amongst these 105 children were of 33%, then rag pickers 57%, and the third category 9.5, hardly 10% of that. I could not find many children who are without adult protection. Now let me show you this slide which depicts the whole project work which I have been working throughout these 3 months. There are the regions on the left, almost 10 regions which I found that these are most potential regions which are responsible for the educational deprivation of the target group. And given on the right side is category-wise percentage of the people who have been suffering due to these things. So if you can see the color of the slide, only 3 or 4 lines are dark color. First one, fifth one, and the 9th one. It shows that these regions are the most potential regions which are restricting them to get their child enrolled in the schools, to mainstream them. And you can see the percentage, I've put the percentage in hundreds. And if you see on 7-point education status of the parent, you can see that in each and every column there's 100%. So from here I can say that the low educational status of the parents of the children is responsible for keeping their wards out of the mainstream education. Another potential region which comes on second strata is the first one, low income. Friends, I want to say that poverty is the mother cause of every reason which keeps them out of the school, and all other reasons are outcome of that mother reason. So low income is the first one, where you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, around 6 or 7 columns show 100%. That and show that this is the most potential region, and other reasons which are also affecting them are earning compulsion, private cost of education, insecurities, physical injury, and insecurities. If you look at the 5th point, emotional abuse. Friends, let me tell you that this is a very surprising fact for me to find out this region for not sending their wards to the schools, because they are very much afraid of that their children, if they are sent to the schools, be it a government school or a normal private school, they will be emotionally abused. Especially, just I want you to pay attention to what the category I'm talking about: the beggars, the rag pickers, and the children without education. As in, when they get mixed with the normal students, they are teased, they are bullied upon by the other student that you are beggar, you're begging. Because after a little time they come to know that he's been coming from such a background, he's been begging, he's been picking rags and all that. So this is a very prominent reason which restricts them, the emotional abuse. And then on 9th point, you can see the lack of awareness. Friends, nowadays you already know that after the inception of Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, and previous to that DPP was there, then RMSA came into the scenario, and now right to education has come, which says that each and every child between the age of 6 to 14 has a right as per the constitution. This has been included in the fundamental rights itself. But even after that, because the students we are talking about, they are not aware about the schemes of the laws, whether it is Child Protection Right or the Labour Act, whether it is Juvenile Justice Act, whether you talk about the provision of constitution, whether you talk about the right to education itself, they are not aware. So this is also one of the very potent reason, lack of awareness among this. And the 10th point says that sibling care is also restricted, especially in the case of girls, because they belong to poor families and parents, both and other elderly people in the family, they have to go to earn bread and butter on daily basis, and they have got a lot of children also at the home to be taken care of by these students. Children, sorry. So girls are most affected. If you can see, in beggars it is 75%, in drag pickers it is 70%, and in other categories it is for boys also it is 88% and 80% also. So these are some of the potent regions which are restricting these students. Now in this slide, I've tried to show that the factors, the potentiality of the factors which are affecting this. If you have a glance on the last percentage column, you can see that low income is responsible for 98% of such children being out of school, then 62% earning compulsion, and likewise I'm not going to read out the percentages, you can have a look on the percentages, that how potential are the various factors for that. And then I used a little statistical method also. I took the mean of all values, and let me thank in between the presentation Dr. Satyavat, because he belongs to economics background, and he helped me much even in the 11th hour to calculate these things and to find out the means. And this pie chart shows that the poverty is the main region which is responsible for keeping them out of school, and its percentage is 73. Then insecurity is 51%, and other reasons, including all other 7 reasons, it makes a total of 65%. So while compiling the data, when I compiled each and every percentage and means and graphs and all that, then I came to conclude that there are a lot of regions which were hidden from our eyes. We could not even think of those regions, that these are the regions. And I want to take the permission from the learned faculty. I want to talk about a very special region. That's a insecurity of getting physically injured, which I never thought about. This was a new thing which I added to the tool also after going through the pilot test when I improved my tool basically. And this insecurity was of getting the child injured or met an accident while going to the school. Friends, I want to tell you here that there was a sound reason behind it. Because the children from the elite or the middle class families, while they go to school, they have got the transportation facilities, whether it is a rickshaw, whether it is a school bus, or likewise you might be knowing your children are going to schools not on foot. But if you talk about the poor people, first thing is they cannot choose the school in their own locality. If it is an elite school, they cannot go to that school. They have to find a school which is providing free education. It may be in the next locality, maybe next, or maybe out of city, or maybe in the nearby village. So they have to go there, but they cannot pay for the transportation. They cannot go with their watch to lift them up to school. So that is why they are very much afraid of getting their child injured while going to the school, because in the city there are very huge traffic and cars rolling on the roads and all that. So it has been a very potential region which restricts them. It was a new thing that I was putting some light on that. And another one is high cost of education. Friends, after the inception of right to education, you might say that it is free now. But still, if you think over it, that once the child is enrolled in the school, he has to get some clothing also, not the school dress, because we are providing the uniform under the various scheme, but still he has to take, if you count the small things, he or she has to take a bath, he needs a soap bar also, and toothbrush and other things, the bag and the pencils and stationeries and all that. So it is included, all these things are included in the private cost of education, and they are not able to bear this private cost of education, even though the schooling is totally free of cost. So this has been another reason which restricts them to. So here I've also told you the percentages. So I'm skipping some of the slides, and I'm coming directly to the challenges which the thought is they think that they have. When I to know about the challenges, I must tell the respectable faculty that I went to Deputy Commissioner of the district itself, the Additional Deputy Commissioner, the BOs, DOs, and even my in directorate, state level, I talked to the Director Secondary Education, Director Elementary Education, Director General, all of them. Since I'm a member of State Resource Group and I've been delivering lecturing so many, so I've got a chance to deal, to talk to them. So I found that there are many regions which are restricting them to address these problems which I found out throughout the project work. So first one is the limited resources. They said that we don't have that much money that we can reach to each and every person and make them live a very happy and elite life. The limited resources itself. The resources include the money as well as the food and the clothing and other facilities. So this is the most potential region which they told that this is the challenge before them. Then another one is ineffective implementation of the welfare scheme. All of you know that even after having very good schemes, we are not able to implement them in letter and spirit. So the ineffective implementation of the welfare scheme, insensitive political system. So this is a very great thing to know about, that though they were not ready to give it in writing that the political system is very insensitive, but they somehow they told that the political system is not ready to address the problem of these poor people just because they want to keep it as a reserve so that they can be used as a pool for as a vote bank for the next elections. So then lack of awareness among the people, then unavailability of the effective policies of eradication of poverty, then ignorance from the side of people themselves, the scattered population of such children, because we cannot locate many of the students in one area so that you can open a school, be it formal or informal, because they are very much scattered. So this is another problem before the authorities. Then class conflict is there. I want to pay a little stress on this class conflict by saying this. Here I mean that when these students go to school, and I have been addressing such problems since a very long time, because under IIT Act in section 12, you might be knowing, says there's a provision of 25% admission in the nearby school in the neighborhood. But when the students are enrolled in the schools, there's a conflict not among the students themselves, but among the parents and the guardians of the students. They usually complain that why you have enrolled to the school authority, why you have enrolled the children from such localities, they'll spoil our child also. So it becomes a very tense situation for the school authorities. That's why they've been avoiding to enroll this class of students. Then non-ability of land to establish new school in the urban areas, and low expectation from the education. You might have heard so many people in Haryana, they used to say, "Pad ke bhi kya hoga?" Right? So there are a lot of people who have done MA, PhD, and all the MBA and engineering. So the expectation of the people, they are very low from this present education system. So these are the challenges which the authorities could tell me throughout the project work. And now let us see what are the recommendations. See, the friends, we have the regions, we have the challenges. Now we have to find out that how to meet out the problems of the student, how to remove these hurdles from the way, from the system. So these are the recommendations, and we are talking about because we cannot recommend the same strategy to the all type of categories. So I have categorized them: recommendation for the bagging, recommendation for the rag pickers, recommendation for the, and I'll go through it very shortly. For beggars, law preventing the begging in India must be implemented in true spirit so that the children do not get involved in begging. There's an anti-begging law in India, might be knowing about that, but it needs to be implemented in letter and spirit. But I'm sorry to say that nobody is paying any attention towards it, and even we people who are called as elite people, intellects and educated people, we used to pay the alms to these beggars wherever we found them. The poverty education program must take into account the beggars, especially the children of school-going age. Then the parents of the children involved in begging should be made aware about the laws and welfare schemes so that they can refrain from long forcing their children to beg and get them enrolled in the schools. Then another one is the families must be provided shelter and then empowered by imparting vocational training. Because the people, I want to mention a very short experience of mine here, that in 1996 I was running an NGO before coming to this service, and with the help of Honorable the then President of India, I started a begging eradication program, BEP. And at that time I could enroll more than 32 beggars in our NGO without taking any help from the government. I just started contacting the government offices that if you have any chairs which can be gained by these beggars to the food processing industries so that they can be involved and trained for jam and jelly making like that. So I run that program for almost 2 years, and I enabled all 32 enrolled beggars in my NGO, and they are learning their livelihood since last 10 years. So such programs are very much required nowadays. Then once the children are enrolled in the schools, they should undergo special trainings and may also be provided with special incentive and care so as to ensure that they do not get dropped out of the schools. For the second category, some of the points are same, and special attention is required that though rag picking is not a crime, like begging was a crime, but still it comes under the Prevention of Child Labour Act. So if that act is implemented in letter and spirit, it can be, the child can be prevented for professing rag picking profession and all that. So therefore the such laws should be enforced, and it must be taken care that none of the child is involved in rag picking. Then the laws should be given wider publicity so that the people who are doing this profession, who are professing them, they should know that what are the laws and how they can be punished if they keep on doing the same thing. Then the constitutional bodies involved in the protection of child rights such as NCPCR, SCPCR should take hard steps to prevent any type of infringement of child rights, and the child once enrolled should be given proper attention so that they do not come out of school again. And for the last category, children without reproduction, the implementation agencies of the laws like JJ Act 2000, you might be knowing about that, Juvenile Justice Act, and the authorities like National Council for the Protection of Child, NCPCR, should work in harmony and make collective effort to ensure that no child, particularly in tender age of 6 to 14, stay alone without the adult care and protection. Because as and when a child stays alone, he falls prey to so many antisocial elements and antisocial practices. More rehabilitation programs and shelter homes should be started by the center as well as the state governments. NGOs and families or even individuals can be motivated to adopt such children, and life skill programs and vocational training should be organized for their proper rehabilitation. So these were the recommendations, and the last slide, I'm here to conclude that the study has revealed some key points, and I'm going to conclude them. First one is the poverty resulting from the low family income is the root cause of educational deprivation. This is well established fact now. The second one is the poverty along with the low educational status of the parent. These are the two main reasons. This is established now. Beside this, insecurity, lack of awareness and sibling care, they are also among the potent reasons. Then distance from the school and private cost of education also plays a role. And then to conclude with the difficulties that authorities are having before them to fight with such regions, lack of foolproof welfare schemes to eradicate the poverty, lack of awareness about the welfare program, and insensitivity to the political system. These are the main points. But at last I would like to say that by taking a few serious steps and increasing the liability of the educational and administrative officers to effectively implement the scheme and to enforce the existing